Well, the good news is I will be able to shave this playoff beard by Friday night if Edmonton continues to play like that. Pretty brutal showing, honestly, after a really good first period for the Edmonton Oilers. My name is Austin. Welcome to the day after discussion of the Oilers 5-3 loss to the Dallas Stars. Oilers fans, Stars fans, if you're tuning in, I hope you enjoy this video. There's going to be a lot to talk about. I will have things broken down and time-stamped for you, so if there's any part of this video that you want to pause, go back to, or skip ahead to, I will have that timestamp for you, make it super easy. If you like my playoff content so far and you want to continue to see more playoff content, just make sure you hit that like button. If you're not yet subscribed and you end up really liking this video today, make sure you hit that sub button, hit the little bell so that you're notified every time I upload or go live, because I do live stream every single game in this series as well. So let's jump into it. I did mention the Oilers had a good first period and then a not so good last 40 minutes. And, you know, when we look at this team, the Edmonton Oilers, they have shown that they can play with the Dallas Stars. They have shown that they can dominate long stretches against the Dallas Stars. And then they've shown that, you know, they just, I don't know if it's just a mentality right now, but every time this team gets a lead, the Oilers, that is, I'm never comfortable. During the live stream last night, I had people asking me in the chat after, you know, we're up 2-0, heading to the second. They're like, how do you feel? I'm like, well, I'm happy with the lead, but the amount of leads that Edmonton has blown in the playoffs, I'm never comfortable with the lead. Stanley Cup winning teams should always make you comfortable with a lead. You should always feel comfortable with the lead if you're a Stanley Cup contender. And right now, the Edmonton Oilers, a lot of it is them beating themselves. A lot of it is the Dallas Stars Dallas turns it up to another level and Edmonton is unable to match it. So a lot of credit to the Dallas Stars. Stars fans, you've got a hell of a team right now. And for the Edmonton Oilers, they're in a world of trouble. If they do not win Game 4, they're going to go down 3-1 in this series, and that will pretty much be a wrap. But until you get there, you know, we're not going to try and dwell on that too much. You do have to win 4 games to win a series. The Edmonton Oilers, though, obviously, I think they would have liked to hold on to that lead, but Dallas, they have a lot of say too. And, you know, in these day after discussion videos, I do break things down with topics. So let's kind of jump into it here. My topics today is leadership, Philip Broberg, Kris Knoblauch once again, Stuart Skinner, I will talk about him for a little bit, 60 minutes, lineup changes, keys for Game 4, and my closing thoughts. At the bottom of the screen, you have the final score, which was 5-3, and then the purple font, that is the advanced analytics courtesy of Natural Stat Trick for the game at 5-on-5. Those are the Oilers stats. So Edmonton finished with an expected goals for percentage of only 36.71% at 5-on-5, high danger Corsi for 44.44%, and scoring chances for 41.46%. So after the first period, Dallas completely took over the game at 5-on-5. Oilers had a couple power plays. They were not able to convert. Now, when we talk about our topics today, first one is leadership, and I'm actually going to play a few clips, and then I'm going to discuss why I'm going to talk about leadership. I'm going to be going after the leadership group here. So Draisaitl, Nurse, McDavid, and Nugent-Hopkins. Obviously, I'm not blaming them individually for any of these losses. However, I do want to point some things out. They should not be, exempt from criticism when the team is not performing. And there's a couple things that I want to show all of you in clip form, and then, you know, kind of talk about why I have these specific players in the bullseye today for the discussion. So I'm going to head to the browser. We're going to play this clip from Leon Draisaitl. This was after Game 3 against the Vancouver Canucks.
You guys hit, I think, 4 or 5 goalposts tonight. You generated the chances. How much of that is bearing down, or how much of that is just good goaltending or luck?
Well, post is not good goaltending.
Okay, now I'm not going to say anything just yet. I'm just going to play these clips and then we're going to kind of discuss it. All right. So the next one, this is Connor McDavid. This was after Game 5 against Vancouver. Of course, we know Vancouver, they scored with about 30 seconds left. McDavid, he lost his man on the back check. And let's hear what McDavid had to say.
Weird, whatever was going on at the bench over there. And then, they end up with it with a little bit of time. And, we're just trying to hold the middle. And, they get... they get a bounce. They probably deserved a bounce tonight. I thought they were the better team, and they get a bounce at the end of the game, and that's the way it goes.
Okay, remember that. Remember that first clip from Draisaitl. Post is not good goaltending. Connor McDavid says they get a bounce. All right. Here's Darnell Nurse last night, and he's asked about the second period, how they go 13 minutes without generating a shot on goal, and obviously I will be talking about Nurse a lot in this video. So pay attention.
How do you explain that at this time of year, Darnell, the 13 on the shot clock, them pushing so hard and you guys not having their spots?
It's hockey. Happens.
What is that reaction? Can you explain to me what that reaction is? He looks pretty nonchalant for a team that's down 2-1 in a series and for a guy that should be getting a lot more criticism than he is from the media for his play. All right, now, here was Darnell Nurse's reaction after he took that tripping penalty with about 4.5 minutes left in the third. The Oilers were down a goal, by the way, and Darnell Nurse, it was the most obvious tripping penalty that the refs could have called. He stuck his leg out, he tripped the Dallas Star player, and he's trying to act like why would you call that? No. I'm not buying it. Darnell Nurse, no, not buying that. Now, next thing I'm going to show is this is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins before the first Dallas Stars goal. Puck comes to him. All he has to do is just get this puck out, whether he wants to go on his backhand or get a play on his forehand up to Hyman. And he does not get it deep. Roope Hintz keeps it in. Of course, the puck is going to be cycled around here, and then Edmonton is going to score. And there's McDavid not covering Robertson in time before he gets the shot off. Robertson, of course, puts that puck in the net. Now, the next clip here, this is before Dallas's second goal. Matthias Ekholm, he just made a play on the puck. Him and Sagan go down. The puck is coming towards Nugent-Hopkins. It goes to the point, and Nuge, did you catch that? He dove at the puck. Let's just quickly replay that here. We'll just try and fast forward a little bit. Puck comes loose. Here's Nugent-Hopkins. Now, what do you think he should do here? Do you think he should dive at the puck? Do you think he should stay on his feet, pressure the defender? Yeah, how about we just take a dive at the puck here? And, of course, Dallas is going to get a million opportunities and then eventually put it in. So, that's that. Let's talk about leadership. That first clip with Leon Draisaitl. Post is not good goaltending. That second clip with Connor McDavid, they got a lucky bounce. That third clip with Darnell Nurse after, he's asked about being outshot and not getting a shot on goal for 13 straight minutes. That's hockey. And he kind of laughs it off. What do all of those plays or comments have in common with each other? I can tell you one word for it: accountability. And this leadership group, they are not taking accountability for when the team loses or when the team, is put in a situation where the other team, whether it's Vancouver or Dallas or LA or whoever they're playing, there is no accountability from this leadership group. Whether you have an A or a C on your jersey, these are the players that the team relies on for offense. These are the players that the team relies on for most of the minutes during a game to help the team win. And when they don't win, these are the comments that they're making. Leon Draisaitl did not give Artur Shilov's credit for being, playing well. I understand what he's saying. It's more of a tongue-in-cheek comment about Post is not good goaltending, but at the same time, he had an opportunity to kind of figure out how he wanted to word things, and those are the words he chose. He didn't want to give credit to Artur Shilov's. Connor McDavid, lucky bounce. Was it a lucky bounce? I mean, Vancouver completely outplayed the Edmonton Oilers in Game 5 in Vancouver for pretty much most of the game. The Oilers had a good first 10 minutes of that first period, and then Vancouver completely took over. And Connor McDavid, that was his check at the end of the game, before the game winner. And McDavid, he didn't take any accountability. He didn't say, "Hey, that was my guy. I should have been there sooner. I should have got the stick lift." Whatever. No, that's just a lucky bounce. Yeah, that's a lucky bounce. The team on the other side. Now, he did acknowledge that, maybe Vancouver earned that lucky bounce. He did say the Vancouver Canucks were the better team, but he did double down on the lucky bounce comment. And then Darnell Nurse last night, when Darnell Nurse is talking about how the team played, how they responded, how Dallas came out, and then being asked about not having a shot on goal for 13 straight minutes, he just shrugs. He kind of laughs, really nonchalant. Oh, that's hockey. Is it? Do Stanley Cup contenders regularly go 13 straight minutes without a shot? Because this is nothing new for the Edmonton Oilers. They have done this a lot throughout the postseason against Vancouver and now against Dallas. There have been numerous games and stretches of 10 minutes or more where the Oilers do not generate a single shot on goal. And instead of, looking at himself, maybe self-reflecting, be like, as a defenseman that's relied on to get the puck out of the zone, I'm not doing my job getting the puck up to the forwards. That's not allowing us to get on the attack. But instead, he just shrugs his shoulders and goes, that's hockey. That's hockey. I picked on Nugent Hopkins a little bit. That's one of his worst games in a while in terms of the defensive play. Usually Nugent Hopkins is much better away from the puck, but that first goal, he did not get the puck out at the blue line. Dallas kept it in. They scored 5 seconds later. The second goal, he dives at the puck instead of trying to make a play or staying on his feet. And then, of course, there's a mad scramble in front of the crease, and the Oilers just don't adjust defensively, and the puck beats Skinner. And, this is your leadership core. And it's hard for me to, I don't want to point the finger at Draisaitl, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins. Look at the production that those guys have put up in the playoffs so far. It's not like I'm sitting here going, Edmonton is losing because of them. However, when the team does lose, you want some form of accountability, and usually your leadership group is the ones coming out to take that accountability. And for some reason, the Edmonton Oilers and their leadership group, they are not being accountable for whether it's poor on-ice play, whether it's defensive miscues, whether it's just not burying the puck, whether it's not generating enough offense. They seem to like to either point fingers or just not acknowledge that maybe they're not playing good enough. And I don't understand this mentality. And we talk about maturity. Maturity is a big thing that a lot of Stanley Cup teams talk about, a lot of players on Stanley Cup teams. The Edmonton Oilers, this is year 9 with Connor McDavid. They were in the Western Conference in 2022, Western Conference Final, in 2022. Last year, obviously, they lost in the second round to the Vegas Golden Knights. This year, they're back in the Western Conference Final. At some point, where is the accountability? Where is the leadership from these guys? You've been here before. You should not be continuing to not only play the way that they do for long stretches during games, but there should be more self-reflection and accountability going on in that locker room. And if you're the rest of the roster, that's how the leadership group is, and I can't even pretend to imagine what actually goes on in a NHL locker room, by the way. This isn't me just trying to blast certain players. This isn't me criticizing the team. But as a fan, as someone that, watches the post-game interviews and is trying to get a gauge on what's going on, what could the team do better, the leadership group, they're not being mature about this. And a lot of this contrasts starkly with, look at the Vancouver Canucks. When Rick Tocchet called out some of his players, and then JT Miller, he texted Rick Tocchet to apologize for a poor performance in Game 4 against Edmonton. That is a leader taking accountability. Now, like I said, maybe McDavid and maybe Draisaitl, maybe Nurse, maybe Nugent Hopkins. Maybe they go to Knoblauch. Maybe they talk to Knoblauch and they're like, you know what? We just weren't good enough. Maybe they just don't like answering questions from the Edmonton media. That is a strong, strong possibility. But at the end of the day, the fans, they pay a lot of money to go to these games. They pay a lot of money on merchandise. They like to watch the post-game interviews. They like to analyze the game. Someone like me, I like to analyze what's going on. I like to try and figure out solutions because, I create content. I create videos. I want to discuss a lot. And then when I see the leadership group continuously put out statements or comments like these players have throughout the playoffs this year, and there's more comments that I could have picked up, but these were the main ones that I wanted to bring up with these specific players. It's discouraging. It's discouraging. I think overall the fans and the team and the city, they just deserve a little bit more. And maybe Edmonton comes out with a fire lit under their ass in Game 4. Maybe this leadership group turns it up. Maybe Edmonton finds a way to win this series. I really hope they do. But until they prove that they're a mature group, and until that they prove that they are Stanley Cup contenders, I will criticize each and every single one of them, at least for today. Now, next thing I want to talk about is Philip Broberg. Now, this goes back to Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci. My God. I don't care what Kris Knoblauch and Paul Coffey do. I don't care how Philip Broberg gets in this lineup. You have to play him in Game 4. Darnell Nurse has been on the ice for 18 goals against at 5-on-5. 18. That is 6 more than the next closest player in the entire postseason. And I believe Charlie McAvoy on Boston was on the ice for 12 goals against at 5-on-5. And Boston's not even in the playoffs anymore. So, Darnell Nurse, he's been on the ice for 18 goals against at even strength. He is a -10 or a 12. I don't remember what it is at this point. It doesn't matter. Darnell Nurse has not been anywhere near good enough. He's been horrible. Just awful. His contract is buyout proof. The team can't even buy him out this summer because it is such a bonus laden contract, and he has a no move clause. So if he doesn't want to waive his no move clause, you're stuck with him. You don't get to trade him. But Darnell Nurse, I don't see the team ever taking him out of the lineup completely, but you need to start limiting minutes. Same with Cody Ceci. You need to limit minutes or take him out of the lineup entirely. And Philip Broberg, he should be in this lineup. There's no way Philip Broberg right now could be worse. Darnell Nurse is averaging at least a goal against per game, a little over a goal against per game. Philip Broberg literally could not be worse. Could not be worse. And then Cody Ceci, obviously, he's had his struggles in the playoffs, and he's been just awful as well. And then I don't know why Nurse and Ceci were put back together last night. It made no sense. And of course, they're hemmed in their own zone the entire time that they're out on the ice. We have beaten this horse before. And like I've mentioned before, there's nothing left on this horse's corpse. But for Philip Broberg, like I mentioned, he has to get into the lineup. Kris Knoblauch has to find a way to get him into the lineup. Do you go 11-7? Do you take Sam Carrick or Derek Ryan out and then go 11-7 and then have Broberg rotate with every defense pair other than Ekholm and Bouchard? Do you have Broberg play shifts with Nurse and then play shifts with Kulak? Of course, he would have to get a couple shifts with Bouchard or Ekholm as well. I know Phil Broberg, his strong side is the left side. He can play right D. However, I would actually probably prefer Brett Kulak playing right D a lot and then having Philip Broberg play left D. But, enough is enough at this point. You can't... If you're a coach of this team, or, whether it's a video coach, whether you're part of the analytics department, if there really is an analytics department right now, Jeff Jackson, don't know if there actually truly is a true analytics department right now. Paul Coffey, whatever the situation is, you cannot continue to trot out the same defense pairs that they have been. Continue to put CC out there for 20 minutes a night, Darnell Nurse for 20 minutes a night, and expect to win hockey games. It's been proved 3 years. This is the third straight postseason that these players are being exposed heavily. And Darnell Nurse's contract is what it is. Am I happy about it? Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, you have to set egos aside. You have to make tough decisions. And if that means Nurse is coming out or CC's coming out of the lineup, you have to do it. You have to play Philip Broberg. You have to send a message to the rest of the defense group. It's not fair to Kulak. It's not fair to Desharnais. It's not fair to Ekholm. And it's not fair to Bouchard. Now, Desharnais, he did struggle last night, and I understand trying to limit his minutes because he was being hemmed in a lot when he was with Darnell Nurse. But at the end of the day, a lot of this is still falling on Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse is being paid like a top pairing defenseman. You want him to be able to elevate his partner. Desharnais should never be playing top 4 minutes regardless. And this falls back on Ken Holland for not actually upgrading right D. He picked up Troy Stetcher, who just isn't even around the team right now. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't think he's even practicing with the main group during off days. Literally don't know where Troy Stetcher is. What a great pickup for Ken Holland. Now, obviously, if Stetcher's hurt, you can't predict that. But the Oilers and Oilers fans, especially the more analytically inclined fans, they've been pushing for an upgrade on Cody Ceci on right D. You need to push guys down with depth and shelter their minutes. Cody Ceci being asked to play top 4 minutes, not good. He gets shelled. Vinny Desharnais being asked to play top 4 minutes, not good. He usually gets shelled. I like Desharnais a lot, but he is a third pairing defenseman at best, and sometimes he can rotate up on the second pair, depending how the game is going, the ebbs and flows. I don't mind him doing that. But the way the defensemen have been trotted out in these playoffs, you have to play Philip Broberg. If Philip Broberg is not in the lineup in Game 4, or if Nurse and CC are still together in Game 4, I made a promise to everybody on the live stream and in my previous videos. I said I would turn into the Joker. I will take a knife, I'll carve a big old smile into my cheeks, and I will paint my face white. I'll put the bright red lipstick on, and I will turn into the Joker. I will dye my hair green on stream, and I may never truly recover mentally from having to watch Nurse and CC for the third straight playoffs, possibly cost this team any chance at a Stanley Cup. Again, there's a lot of people that you can put the blame on. You can blame Holland for not properly upgrading right D at the deadline. You can blame Darnell Nurse for not playing like a top pairing defenseman, even though he's paid like one. You can blame Cody Ceci for just not playing good enough in the role that he's given. And it doesn't matter where Ceci is, whether he's up or down on the defense pairs. The metrics show that he brings everyone down. He's bringing Brett Kulak down. And I think Paul Coffey and Kris Knoblauch, they're just kind of we don't know what to do, because if you split up Ekholm and Bouchard, well, now you've taken a defense pair that is so good. Like, they are so good. And now, is that going to limit your chance to win a hockey game if you split up Ekholm and Bouchard just to try and get the other defense pairs to figure out how to play defense? When you have 4 defensemen, you have two pairs of your of your 3, 2 out of the 3 pairs that you can't even regularly put out because they just get shelled all the time. That's an indictment on management for not improving it. And then, of course, coaching staff, they have an opportunity to figure out where you want to have your high leverage minutes. And for some reason, Nurse and CC, it always comes back to those two. And it is absolutely insane right now. Philip Broberg has to get into the lineup. He has to. No questions about it. Philip Broberg, whether he's ready, a lot of fans are going to be like, oh, well, you can't just put Broberg, you can't feed him to the Wolves in the playoffs. Yes, you can. Yeah, they fed Calvin Pickard to the Wolves in Game 4 at home. The Oilers, if they lost that game against Vancouver, would have been down 3-1 in the series. Calvin Pickard, these are professional athletes. Now, Calvin Pickard, he's a bit older. He's been around the game a long time. Philip Broberg is still young. He's still, you can say he's in the development stage of his career, whatever you want to call it. Philip Broberg has put in minutes for this team in the past, and he's been ready to play throughout the playoffs. He's taken pregame warmups a few times when certain guys were sick or not at 100%. You play Philip Broberg. Play him, limit some of these guys' minutes, and help them out. And maybe that sparks them to just play a bit more responsible on the defensive side of the puck too. I just find that right now they're not moving the puck enough. They're not getting good clean outlet passes, and they're not skating the puck out of trouble. Philip Broberg, his 2 biggest strengths are passing and skating. Those are his 2 biggest strengths. He is a terrific skater. If he can skate himself out of trouble and then move the puck up, that will be huge. And it would be a huge improvement on whatever Cody Ceci and Desharnais and Darnell Nurse are doing right now. So get Broberg in the lineup. Now, the man who can get Broberg in the lineup is Kris Knoblauch. That is the next topic we're going to talk about. Kris Knoblauch, he is being completely outcoached in the series, and he is showing why he's not why, we know he's a rookie NHL head coach, but there's a lot of similarities to how he's coaching right now to how Jay Woodcroft coached in 2022, especially in 2022 against Colorado. Jay Woodcroft, he was just completely out of his element, and he was way outcoached. He was outcoached a lot in the playoffs in general. He went to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl a few too many times. Of course, Draisaitl in 2022, he had that high ankle sprain, trying to shelter him. I get that. But Kris Knoblauch right now, at the first sign of trouble for some reason in this series against Dallas, he is putting McDavid and Draisaitl back together instead of just running them on separate lines. He did it in Game 2. I called him out on it. Game 3, he started to do it in the second period when the team was down 3-2. Now, they were able to tie it up. Henrique tied the game late. So third period started, and he separated McDavid and Draisaitl once again. Once Dallas got the go-ahead goal, he immediately went back to McDavid and Draisaitl on the same line. There was still about 8 minutes left or something. I don't remember. I'm just trying to repress that whole third period and second period from my memory. But Kris Knoblauch, the decisions that he's making right now, and I talked about the defenseman too. People will say, oh, well, that's Paul Coffey. Paul Coffey gets to decide how the defensemen are rolled out. Kris Knoblauch is the head coach. If the head coach goes to Paul Coffey and says, stop playing these 2 players together before I absolutely lose it, Paul Coffey's going to listen to him. Because at the end of the day, Kris Knoblauch, he's the head coach. He's the one that is, he deals with the lineup card. He deals with who is playing, who's sitting, that sort of thing. Knoblauch is being outcoached here. He is second-guessing himself. Everything that the Oilers were doing to be successful against LA and Vancouver, and then early in the series against the Dallas Stars, he's completely gone away from. And, it's like he doesn't understand that there's ebbs and flows and adversity during games and series. I don't know what the deal is right now. I don't know if McDavid and Draisaitl are the ones who get to decide when they play together. And if that's the case, there's a whole other can of worms that will be open, and that's a whole other discussion for another video. But, does this come from management? Is this coming from Holland and Jeff Jackson? Are they being radioed down? Hey, you got to play these guys together. I don't think so. I do think Kris Knoblauch is in charge of that bench for the most part. He needs to figure this out, and he needs to figure it out fast. Trust your guys. Go back to what was being, making you successful earlier in the playoffs, and stop screwing around when you get down a goal. And also play more than 20 minutes of hockey. The Oilers against the Dallas Stars in Game 1, for the most part, I thought they played as close to a 60-minute game as you could hope for. Of course, they had the 2-0 lead. Dallas came back, but Edmonton ended up winning. I thought Edmonton was the better team in overtime as well. after they killed that 4-minute power play at the beginning of OT in game 1. And then game 2, the Oilers, I felt, were, the much better team after the first period. But then Dallas, they were the better team in the second and third. And same thing tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, they came out flying. They were so good in the first period, 2-0 lead. And then in the second and third period, I don't know what message is being sent to the team after this first period in these games, but Kris Knoblauch, a lot of this is coming down to him, and there's going to be a lot of blame go to Kris Knoblauch if Edmonton continues to start well and then fall apart in games. And it's not just falling apart after the first period. It's the lineup decisions that he's making, who he's putting out on the ice, putting McDavid and Draisaitl back together. There's death by 1,000 cuts right now with Kris Knoblauch, and you would like a veteran coach that can handle the pressure. And right now, Kris Knoblauch I think he's not handling the pressure well. I think he's overcomplicating things. The team was successful for a reason. He really stuck to a script and a game plan for most of the year, and he's completely going away from it right now that we're in the Western Conference Final. If Kris Knoblauch does not improve his coaching, Edmonton will be done in 5 games, plain and simple. Now, next player I'm going to talk about, Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner, a lot of talk about his game last night. A lot of fans mad. Of course, the 4th goal for the Dallas Stars, you absolutely need a save. You can't let that puck in. I don't care how long you've been in the NHL, whether you're a rookie goalie or a veteran goaltender, that puck can't go in. However, in Skinner's defense, Jason Robertson, he scored 40 goals before. And if Connor McDavid scored that goal against Jake Ottinger, we'd all be talking about how Connor McDavid, he's so smart that he found that little bit of space between the pad and the post, and he just got that in there. Great shot from Connor McDavid, or even Draisaitl, or whoever on the Oilers. We would be talking about, that's a goal scorer's goal. For some reason, Jason Robertson scores a goal scorer's goal, and it's, Stuart Skinner, not good enough. Didn't give the team a chance to win. The Oilers went 13 minutes without a shot in the second period. And Dallas, the chances that they had in the second period and the breakaways that Skinner had, I think Skinner had 2 or 3 breakaway saves in this game, including one in the third period before Dallas went up 4-3. It's hard to ask for more from Skinner right now when he's giving the team a chance to win. All Oilers fans have been saying all playoffs is just give the team a chance to win and the offense will show up. Stuart Skinner was their best player in game 2. In my personal opinion, he gave the team a chance to win. He only gave up 2 goals in game 2, and the offense did not show up. The Oilers scored 1 goal in game 2. Of course, game 1, Skinner played great as well. And last night, do you want a save on the 4th goal? Of course you do. Sometimes you don't get it. But the Oilers, they did not play good enough in front of them after the first period. The chances that Dallas got after the first period, man, it's so hard to blame a goaltender sometimes. And yes, goalies are supposed to make saves. Look at Jake Ottinger. Look at the saves that he makes. Without Ottinger in game 2, the Oilers probably are up 3 or 4 after the first in game 2. And then same thing last night. Jake Ottinger made some amazing saves in the first period. But Stuart Skinner, he's been playing good enough. And last night was a situation where, the team in front of him failed Skinner. And then Skinner, little lapse on that 4th goal. It happens. Now, do you start Calvin Pickard in game 4? This would play out very similarly to the Vancouver series if Calvin Pickard ends up playing game 4, because that's what happened in the Vancouver series. Skinner had a bit of a stinker in game 3. Pickard came in game 4 and 5. So do you go with Calvin Pickard in game 4? I say yes. Stuart Skinner is a goaltender that you can't just ride for too many games in a row, because I don't know if it's a mental thing or a physical thing. There are metrics and stats that show that the more he plays, his stats do start to come down. Stuart Skinner, he played game 6 and game 7 against Vancouver, game 1 and 2 against Dallas. Those 4 games, he played very, very good hockey. Average to above average goaltending in all 4 of those games. Last night was his first game where first game in 5 where he played below average. So maybe that's a sign that he's starting to be fatigued. Maybe you give Pickard a start, and you can be confident going to Calvin Pickard because he played well in his 2 starts, against the Vancouver Canucks, and he also came in relief in 1 game, played well there as well. So Stuart Skinner, I think you sit him for game 4, not because you're punishing him, not because you're blaming him for the loss in game 3, but just to give him a rest, get Calvin Pickard in there, and then maybe the team in front of Pickard will pick him up too, and Edmonton will find a way to tie this series 2-2 heading back to Dallas, because Edmonton's gonna have to tie this series, otherwise this series is over. If Edmonton goes down 3-1 in the series, they are not coming back, not against the Dallas Stars. They are just too good. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is 60 minutes, and I already touched on this earlier, so I won't touch on it too much here. But the Edmonton Oilers, for some reason, they are just notorious at not playing a full 60 minutes. I talked about maturity with the leadership group. I talked about this team playing good for the first period and then just kind of, I don't know, sitting back the rest of the game. And again, I give a lot of credit to the Oilers' opponents. Vancouver, I gave a lot of credit to in round 2. Dallas, obviously, terrific team, one of the best teams in the league. Probably my cup pick if they beat the Edmonton Oilers. But the Oilers, a lot of this is just beating themselves, and they're just not playing 60 minutes. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe I'm at a loss for words here. I think I had more that I wanted to talk about with the 60 minutes thing, but I think we all know that the team needs to play a full 60 minutes. You're not going to win a game playing only 20 minutes. You're not going to win a game when you take even just 15 minutes off. Now, Dallas, you could argue they took 15 minutes off in the first period, and they found a way to win the game. Sure. But Stanley Cup contending and Stanley Cup winning teams do that, and the Edmonton Oilers do not do that because right now, in my opinion, they are not a cup contending team. They are not a cup winning team. They don't have the maturity to handle the pressure right now, and until they prove that they can get over that, and until they prove that they are mature, I will be incredibly skeptical the rest of the way here. Does Edmonton deserve to be in the conference finals? Yes. Are they highly flawed and, not at the level of other cup contenders? Also, yes. So, it can be both. And the leadership group, again, they have to be better too. We need more production from Draisaitl right now. But the team as a whole got to play 60 minutes. Help your goaltender out. Help your defenseman out if you're a forward. And when you're the forwards, get some goals and help your team win. Now, in saying that, lineup changes. I already kind of touched on a little bit of the lineup changes that I would make. I would put Philip Broberg in, whether you go 11-7 or you want to, just take CC out outright or even Darnell Nurse. Sure, why not? But Phil Broberg has to be in for game 4. Calvin Pickard has to start for game 4, in my personal opinion. Again, I love Skinner. I'm not blaming Skinner for the loss here, but those are two of the main lineup decisions you have to make. You have to put Calvin Pickard in and Philip Broberg in. Now, the next player I would also insert into this lineup, and I know he's not going to be inserted because who do you take out? Well, I take Derek Ryan out. I put Sam Gagner in there. Get this guy in front of the home ice fans and just let him loose. He is a lion trapped in a cage right now, and I feel like putting Sam Gagner in. He may not score, but he's just one of those guys. He's energy. He produces energy. He's probably amazing on the bench for the team. Get him in there. I don't care how. I don't care where you play him. Get him in there because right now, Derek Ryan, he's only playing 6-7 minutes a night. And I thought Ryan, he's had a couple bad games in a row here, and there's no sugarcoating it. Derek Ryan he just looks, I don't want to say lost, but Father Time is showing his age with Derek Ryan. I love Ryan. I think he's had a okay playoffs. But if Ryan McLeod is being scratched for poor play and, being on the ice for goals against all the time, I think Derek Ryan can also be scratched too. Also, Warren Fogle, find a way to get him out of the lineup. At the end of the day, you can't take too many guys out. Like, what, you just take the entire bottom 6 out and then insert 6 new guys? No, that's not realistic. But in terms of my own personal lineup changes, I would for sure, let's just take a look at the lineups here. This is what I would have went with last night. It's not what they ended up going with. Carrick did play. McLeod was the one that came out. You know what? Put Perry, Gagner, and Perry Gagner in the lineup. Why not? Right? Put Perry and Gagner in. Take Ryan and I don't know who else you want to take out. Ryan and Carrick out. Take those two guys out. And then put McLeod back in and take Fogle out. However you want to do it. Kris Knoblauch, a lot of decisions to make. There's not enough going on with that third line for Edmonton. I know Connor Brown was moved up. I know Adam Henrique scored. Oh my God, I'm struggling with speaking right now. I apologize. This video is just dragging. They scored. That's great. Their advanced metrics, not very good. I actually thought the line struggled as a whole. I am happy that they produced. Connor Brown, he has a goal and an assist in the series. Adam Henrique, first game back, it's a goal. That's terrific. You love to see that. Get different guys in this lineup. Get a different look in that bottom 6. It's just not good enough right now. Now, the keys for game 4. Again, I've already touched on some of this. Play a full 60 minutes. We need better goaltending. But the big key right now for Edmonton is that power play is struggling. The power play right now is really struggling. They look anemic, lethargic, whatever you want to call it. The power play needs to pick it up. Special teams needs to improve if Edmonton wants to win game 4. And then just getting some depth scoring and holding a lead. If they get a lead in game 4, they have to hold it. If they don't hold the lead in game 4, I have no hope for this team at this point. That's just the reality of the situation. Those are my keys for game 4. Improve the special teams. i.e. the power play, hold a lead. Easier said than done. And of course, make necessary lineup adjustments. Play Calvin Pickard, play Philip Broberg. Those are the two main ones. But that's pretty much it from me. I'm sorry that this video dragged on. I kind of was just rambling towards the last 10 minutes of this video, so I do apologize for that. I just want to thank everyone that has tuned in to the videos and live streams. It means the world to me. And Dallas Stars fans, I want to give a shout out to Dallas Stars fans right now. The Stars DJ at the end of game 2, he played La Bamba, and there was some controversy around that because there were some Oilers fans that thought he played it on purpose, even knowing, Oilers fans assumed that DJ knew about the significance of the song with Joey Moss and Ben Stilter. Now, it came to light that obviously that DJ had no idea, and shout out to that DJ. I want to give him a shout out right now. I will put a shout out down. I'll put his Twitter in the description of the video. All class, by the way. He ended up apologizing once he understood the significance, and he made a donation to the Ben Stelter Foundation, which was super cool. But Dallas Stars fans, they have rallied around that, and they have collectively donated more than $10,000 towards the Ben Stelter Foundation. Dallas Stars fans, you are all class. I just want to thank you all so much. Oilers fans, I think we're trying to figure out a way to repay the favor, repay the kind gesture. At the end of the day, this is a silly game on ice where millionaires shovel a puck around, and try and put it into a net. There are bigger things in the world than hockey. And the way Dallas Stars fans have rallied around, the situation that unfolded with the DJ and the money that they've donated to the Ben Stelter Foundation, it's just all class. So I wanted to give a personal shout out to Stars fans. You were seriously amazing. Stars fans in general have been great. You've been great on X or Twitter.com. You've been great on Reddit. You've been great on the comment section in the YouTube videos. So I just want to give a huge shout out to all of you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you liked today's video, make sure you hit that like button. If you really liked it, make sure to subscribe. And of course, tell someone that you love them today. That's the most important part. Always tell someone that you love them. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow, Oil Country, with the pregame report before game 4. And then of course I will be live streaming tomorrow night as well. So take care, Oil Country. Take care, Dallas Stars fans. I hope to see you all soon. We'll see you next time.